Hey, what's up guys? Glossy-Eyed Gnome here, bringing you an update to Minecraft Xbox One Edition. Most of the information in this video will go over Minecraft Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 3. Right now I'm in the nether going over getting some gas tiers so we can make our way to the end and fight all 4 dragons so we can get all 4 portals opened up. Right here you can take a look. I have in a chest what I take with me just about every time I go to do this. I don't always reset all of them, but this has everything you'll need to reset and get all 4 portals open, assuming it doesn't glitch out. There is a glitch going around as of the first update. This is January 2nd right now. So if you're playing after that, they might have had that fixed by now. But I have pretty good armor. I would recommend taking some potions with you. This is all armor that I've gotten in the end cities over the time that I've done this. But I would recommend regeneration, swiftness, and strength are the 3 key ones. There's not really much else that you could need when you're in there, but those 3 should cover you pretty well if you don't have good armor. You'll see in a clip here later that even with really good armor, it's pretty easy to die. I didn't die anywhere on this trip, luckily, but it did get really close, a half a heart close. And that's good enough for me to want to be prepared. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and make our regenerators for the dragon, the ender crystals. And again, you're going to need glass. There's going to be 7 glass for each one, a gas tier, and an ender eye, which is a ender pearl and a an ender pearl and a blaze powder mixed together. And this is also a good idea, as you just saw there, to go ahead and get all your stuff organized and together so that you're all on the same page. This I added a clip of just because I thought was interesting. Our end portal is pretty far away from our main castle, and so if you take the trip, it's quite the fly away. You can see here as I started it, I'm going to speed it up here in just a second, but it takes quite some time just to get from one to the other. But the elytra becomes very useful in that aspect, because instead of having to walk or use a horse or take some sort of slow method from one place to another, this comes in really handy. I do this every single time, and it takes probably about a minute or 2 to fly from one place to the other, but in comparison to walking, it would take 15 to 20 minutes, even on like a nice horse. These, if you haven't seen them, are an awesome new skeleton. You can find those on the horseback if you can get lucky enough to find one, the skeletal horseback. It's the same one, but sometimes in more difficult areas they'll spawn. We're gonna fast travel here through getting to the ender portal because it takes forever. One tidbit here, I would always turn off autosave. If you're an autosave all the time person, I would turn it off here, just because if you're going in with good armor like I do most of the time, it's not a good idea to lose it. You don't have to do that, but can't say I didn't warn you if you lost something. If you are going to keep autosave on, I would definitely not go in with anything that you're willing to lose, because it is quite dangerous. They've upped the ender dragon over quite some period of time, and he's pretty difficult. Don't forget, if you haven't or you've already fought the ender dragon, to go ahead and reset. That way you have an updated end, and once you get in here, you're going to go ahead and crawl up from your portal and get to the ender dragon. Once you're up here, again, a lot of people have different ways of doing this. I personally just use ender pearls because it takes a lot less time, a lot less building, and a lot less materials. I don't have to keep things in my inventory. I do keep a stack on me of random blocks just in case I do need them for any reason, but this is as simple as it is for me to get up here and kill the 2 that have iron bars around them. So I get up here and I go ahead and break out the side. Once I break out this side, I use another ender pearl and I go head over to the other side. Keep in mind that when you're up here, watch out for the ender dragon, because he will shoot at you and he will try and hit you. He's shooting one right at me now, and as I turn around here, you can see that's like a really easy way to kill yourself. Now I have an elytra on, so it wouldn't have done a lot of damage. I also have feather falling 4, but if you don't have those things, that's enough to kill you just about immediately after it hits you once and you fall to the ground. So the best bet is just to go ahead and be careful and make sure you're doing this really quick and keep an eye out. Doing this with one more person is also a lot better. Here's another tip that I will give you if you already have the elytra and you're going back to do this again. You can actually aim a little bit above each one as you're flying around, and if you're lucky enough, you can get all of them. I'll show you this a couple times throughout the video. There's one near at the end that turned out really well. But it's not impossible to do, and like I said, if you can do it right, you can line it up to where it'll hit the dragon every single time as he's flying around. It's kind of luck that he'll be flying around there, but you can actually do some damage ahead of time on the dragon. It's pretty substantial. So we'll go through fighting the dragon here real quick. My only tips there is if he's not coming down to actually fight you, stay a little closer to the center. He seems to come back down more if you stay closer to the center of the match. And of course, watch out for looking at Enderman. You look at 1 or 2 of those and you're fighting the ender dragon, it can be pretty fatal pretty fast. So once he dies, it's pretty good to pay attention here and look around. There's going to be a portal that pops up, and it'll shine a beacon just like that all the way top to bottom. It lasts for a couple seconds, so just make sure you're looking around for that. It'll tell you where that portal's going to be. Go ahead and get your XP. Once you've gotten your XP, we can head over to that portal. And once we're there, we can go ahead, and what I do is I build a tower up, especially when I'm going to respawn the dragon, just so I can already tell which portals I've already been to, so that I don't end up going into the wrong one twice or confusing myself. So go ahead and build yourself a portal up here. It's also a good idea to go ahead and save before you get in here. Now again, this is completely up to you if you want to leave autosave on. Personally, it's not going to affect your achievements or anything like that. So me personally, I'm one of those people that I'm just going to go ahead and be safe. Save it here, don't turn autosave on, and we'll just go with that. Once you've gone ahead and done that, go ahead and toss your ender pearl inside of the portal. And here we are in the end city. Now, there's a lot of statistics on how they spawn or how many you get. I've had different things happen. I've had 4 portals and 1 of them happen. I've had 4 portals and none. I've had 4 portals and all 4 of them have had end cities. I've had 3. I've had 2. I've literally have every case scenario happen to me. So it's really just a matter of going for your best thing. Now, this is the new mob, the Shulker. We're not going to let that one hit us yet, just because it's easier to get through this right at the moment without it. But here in just a moment, you'll see what the Shulker does, and it's lethal in some aspects, and at the same time, it's very useful. You can't find these anywhere but the end city. They're not going to be in the regular end. They're not going to be anywhere in the normal world or in the nether. These are strictly end city mobs. There's no way to like silk touch them or anything like that. Now, you can spawn them in creative with eggs, but we're not here to discuss that today. We're going through the survival aspect and actually exploring. So this is the first room with loot. This is the most common. This is what you're going to see the most. It's basically the really big looking rooms, and you'll see more of them as we get through this. They're kind of awkward to get through, but there's a couple different ways. My favorite way is to actually just go to the outside and dig in. I did not do the correct way here, and you can see why, because basically if you get hit too many times, you'll get pushed up out of the room, and it can be difficult to get down and get your loot. Here, let's drop back down, and we'll try this again. So on this attempt, you'll see that I go a different approach, and basically I jump up to where the loot is below, and I dig right up to it. This is a lot easier. I've noticed, especially on this side particularly, that you don't get attacked as much, so it's easier to get up and get the loot. And you'll see chests here, but sometimes right now, and I'm almost 100% sure this is a glitch, sometimes chests don't appear, and it's just a loot laying on the ground. So in that kind of a situation, if you're floating or they're hitting you with those, you can't pick up the loot, so it definitely can become an issue. Also with the 5-minute item timer, it can be difficult if you're not getting to the items quick enough. Here you can see they're just sitting there, and if you're quick enough about it, you can get to them before getting hit. In this one, I was not. So basically, you fight off whatever shulkers, and I got a quick enough second there to grab that stuff, so we're going to get in and out. My best tip once you get in these, there's no other loot in the tops of the towers or anything, just more shulkers and other things to worry about, so I just go ahead and break out as soon as the opportunity becomes available. Watch, a lot of this is made out of like weird slabs and stuff, so you'll have to like be genuinely careful on where you're walking and jumping. From here, I have the elytra already. In your case, if you don't have it, you can go ahead and use an ender pearl and jump over there. Either one works. Ender pearls are super helpful. If you don't have a farm, you can pretty much just build like a 3x3 covering over top of yourself and look at endermen in the end and kill plenty of them. That's pretty much what I do. I don't have any sort of a farm. I just think it's easier just to do that. And so basically, once you get all the loot from each of the different towers, you're going to go ahead and hand over for your end ship. Sometimes it's a little hard to find. I would recommend saving. I know I'm floating right now, but that status effect does last, so it's not really a big deal. And again, I have the elytra, so I can kind of fly away from anything. So look around, see if you can find the end ship. There it is. Once you drop, press A, drop into flight. I've had some practice, of course. This will take a lot of practice where you can land on everything you want to. Make it. There's going to be a shulker right here every single time you come in here. There's never going to be a chance when it's not there. It's always going to be there. Luckily for you, you're indoors once you get in here, so it's not a big deal. Just make sure you get in there before he hits you so you don't float away. Both these chests usually have pretty good stuff. I found mending in these particular chests at least a dozen times. Chest plates, helmets, leggings, boots, you name it. I haven't found any mending books in the end city at all, but lots of armor, lots of equipment. I've found. I have an iron sword. The one I'm using now has mending on it, and I've had it since I've gotten it. It doesn't break. It does 9 damage with everything I put on it. It's a pretty impressive sword for being iron. But so the loot is pretty substantial. So once you get out of here, we're going to go through. We're going to go back to the center, and we're going to spawn the dragon again. You'll also notice that status effect drags through, so if you get hit right as you're leaving, that won't drag through until you get back into the portal. So you're going to place one on each edge here, right in the center on each edge. And you will see once that happens, all 4 of those will sprout up. It's going to fill all those pillars up with new ender crystals. And now I know a lot of people build up to these, and same as me, ender pearl. Be careful to wait till they're all the way completely finished, because if you try and go up there ahead of time, there's a huge explosion and it will kill you, trust me from experience. So at this point, he gave me a little bit of a trouble this run. He really did not want me to have him dead. So this is what I was talking about if you're not careful. And I have like full suited armor, and he's still pretty much tearing me alive. So even after that, we're going to go through and try and knock down all these crystals, get as much work done as we can. Then we'll go back up and get that other one. Once we're finished that, we're going to go through and kill the ender dragon again. Like I said before, the best way, if he's not coming down to fight you, is to get as close to the center as you can. I'd say about right about where I'm standing now is probably the best place to stand. Anywhere within a circle of the center of that, he seems to come down a lot more. If you run around a lot, he'll just fly and shoot things at you. You can shoot him, but it's much more difficult. He'll go down a lot faster if you just get him to the center and shoot him. Another tidbit I will note, if you get him down this far and you shoot him while he's flying and actually take out the last bit of his health, he will not die. So don't expect him to just easily die right there. There's another example of how easy it is to get hit by that dragon breath and how fast it will take you down. And again, I'm wearing very serious armor. But as I was saying, if you shoot him while he's in the air, he will not die. You have to wait till he comes back down, then you'll get that. The reason for that is so that all the XP goes around the portal. I don't know what the exact reasoning behind that is, but that's the way they've set up the game to spawn. You'll also notice the second, third, and fourth time you kill the dragon, if you haven't reset the end, you will not get near the XP. You get 55 to 60 levels normally when you do it otherwise. And it seems like you only get like 2 or 3 at this point whenever you kill him. So the second, third, and fourth time are not quite as lucrative when it comes to XP. So in my experience, it's been more lucrative for me to just reset the end. This time we got unlucky. We did not get any sort of an end city, which was pretty unlucky. So we're going to go back and fight the dragon again. Another tidbit I will let you guys know of while this is going through and we're fighting the ender dragon. If you go to the end city and the first one you get spawns, you get an end city, you get good stuff, then you should go in there and get it all. But you can also reset the end quickly and go back and do this several times. I figured out exactly what triggers it to reset to a new spawn, but I did this one time 7 different times for the same mending chestplate so that we could get everybody on my server a mending chestplate, not have to worry about it. And we've done it since with other different things. And so we pretty much have quite the colossal stash of good armor and different loot that we've gotten from here. And just because we respawned, once we get something good, we go back for that exact same thing. We actually did one trip about 7 different times for efficiency for unbreaking 3 shovels. And so we just kept doing that just to make sure that we had them. So it's good to know that for now, at least, until they change some things or update things to spawn differently, that you can redo the same one for quite some time. The only thing I seem to have noticed is that from one day to the next, it seems to have a different end. Like one physical day in real life to the next, it seems to change. So if you wait a whole 24 hours, chances are with me and everything I've noted so far, you'll get a new spawn. But I haven't really detailed that to be 100% the case, so we're still waiting on something like that. This one here is a good mention. This is the last one. I kind of cut out some pieces of some things that I did, but right here, this one is really important. This is the only other room that spawns any sort of loot in the end city. And it kind of reminds me of the scene in Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory when they're floating towards the fan, because you're just going towards more of them. There are stairs and end rods that you can walk up around the outside, but I will tell you it's completely pointless to try because they're just going to continuously hit you. It would probably take between 3 and 4 stacks of arrows to probably take out every single shark in the entire room, you know, counting for misses and everything. So once you go through the entire process, it's really better off to just let them hit you, watch, count for 9 seconds. That's how long it lasts, is 9 seconds, and just make sure you have enough to make it somewhere. If not, that you're going to land somewhere and let them hit you again. There is what I consider to be more of a treasure chest type of loot up here. And what I mean by that is like Frostwalker, for example, has been touted as a treasure find. And basically this one in this video is the only pair of Frostwalker boots I've found anywhere ever, and it's been in these chests. I found some other things in there that are considered treasure, like mending and such, and basically so that's considered a treasure chest. I don't know if they all are considered treasure chests, but I found really good things in those specifically. And that room is also a lot more rare than a lot of the other ones. In all 4 of those we got 3 end cities, and only one of them had that shulker room, so it's rarer than most things, and I've only ever seen it about 4 or 5 times. So going over here, this is pretty much the loot that we ended up with. It was a lot of really good stuff, but that was for 4 trips through. My recommendation after you get back from killing all these, the first thing you should do is enchant a bunch of books, see if you can get Unbreaking 3 and put that on your elytra. If you have a mending book, you got lucky enough to find one, then you should go ahead and add that in and make your elytra have mending and Unbreaking 3. You'll notice on mine, I've had mine since the very first time I went in there. I put it on there immediately when I got back, and ever since then I've never had to repair anything. I've never had to worry about having an elytra. All my armor's been upkept, and even since then I've had pretty much a choice of different mending equipment and handing it out to other people. You can see from the wall here and the chest, we just have quite the enormous supply. So the loot is definitely more prevalent than any other feature that I've seen in Minecraft, any dungeon or any mine shaft has ever had. The amount of diamond and enchantments that you're going to find is guaranteed almost in the end city. And like I said, I wanted to take this all the way through so people who hadn't had maybe the equipment yet, or maybe haven't had the time to go through and find the ender portal and go through all the process and see what's there. It is totally worth it. Once you go through all that, you can mine it for all the resources and then just reset the end and do it again. Like I said, we have gotten so much stuff from this, it's so worth it. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and look forward to more. Hope to see you guys soon.